Hello, everyone. This is your November 2023 America 250 Minute. By November of 1773, the vociferous opposition of the colonies to the Tea Act was being heard loud and clear in England. The East India Tea Company had an enormous amount of tea in warehouses, and it was perhaps reasonable that they believed colonial resistance to buying their tea would dissolve if they could just get the tea to the colonies, unload it, and offer it for sale at the greatly reduced price. The company engaged ships scheduled to arrive simultaneously in November 1773 in Charleston, Philadelphia, New York, and Boston, and made arrangements to find American brokers for their cargo, generally merchants whose personal loyalties lay with the crown. All these prearrangements made for a poorly kept secret. American political activists were well apprised beforehand when and where the tea ships were going to try to make port and unload their cargo, and news of activities at each port was immediately sent to the others so that all their actions could be coordinated. Nowhere in the American colonies was the East India Tea Company able to sell its tea. Outside of Boston, colonists, through cajoling or bullying the shippers and consignees, were able to prevent the landing of the tea into port, or at least its sale. In Boston, too, more than a month before the Tea Party, a body of men gathered in the street outside the store of tea merchant Richard Clark demanded that the proprietor vow not to receive any tea shipments. One merchant wrote that the crowd, quote, not receiving such an answer as they demanded, they began an attack upon the store and those within, breaking down doors, flinging about mud, etc., for about an hour, when they began to disperse, and a number of gentlemen, friends of those agents coming to their assistance, they left the store and went upon change, but met with no further insult, though there was much threatening. Following the arrival in Boston of the Dartmouth and her cargo of 114 crates of tea, the first large-scale organized meeting to discuss the tea crisis occurred on Monday, November 29th, 1773, at Faneuil Hall. The Boston Committee of Correspondence and the Sons of Liberty organized the meeting, both of whom were under the leadership of Samuel Adams. The gathering attracted so many of the concerned citizenry, up to 6,000 people by some reports, that the meeting was quickly relocated to the Old South Meeting House. Old South Meeting House was the largest public building in Boston at the time, and thus became the central meeting place of the Patriot movement. The meeting came to a conclusion when Samuel Adams resolved, quote, whether it is the firm resolution of this body that the tea shall not only be sent back, but that no duty shall be paid thereon. He was met with affirming nods, pounding fists, tapping canes, and cheers to support his motion not to pay the tax on the shipment of the British East India Tea Company tea. The decision was made to have 25 Sons of Liberty stand guard at Griffin's Wharf to barricade and prevent the British East India Tea Company tea from being unloaded from the Dartmouth. The stage was being set for the impending waterfront fracas. Thank you, gentlemen, and I will see you next month.